Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Got a brother on that did a bunch of time in Indiana, very influential. Ended up getting some time back, and he's back out here, enjoying his life. But anyway, Demetrius, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and we're going to talk about you.
Well, my name is Demetrius Darnell White. I was born and raised in Fort Wayne, Indiana, on the south side.
Born and raised in Indiana, and you end up going to prison in Indiana, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me what you go to prison for, Demetrius.
Well, I went to jail for attempted murder and Class A robbery. A grocery store called Time Super Value was robbed on the south side of Fort Wayne on East Parting Road. Manager was working. He got robbed and shot in the process. The assailant got away. Police reports said that the description that the victim gave was that the person who robbed and shot him was 6'3", 180 to 190-pound black man. This happened the morning of February 15th of 1998, according to police reports. When I got arrested, March 6th of 1998, I was 5'4" and 156 pounds, literally. And took it to trial. They didn't have no physical evidence. All I had was 2 jailhouse snitches or confidential informants, to be more politically correct, if I may. And the victim saying he wanted me out of a photo ring. And then 11 years after my conviction, I had seen a cold case show on a guy named Timothy Masters. He was the first guy that they did touch DNA testing on. And he ended up getting exonerated, and he won a lawsuit and got compensated for it and let free and all that. And so it sparked my interest. Was there any DNA evidence in my case? I ordered an attorney, Indiana State Public Defender, and asked him, well, was there any DNA evidence in my case? He wrote me a letter back and said no. He tore off the T-shirt and threw it in the trash, and on the victim's way to the emergency room, et cetera, et cetera. But at this time, I was in a war with the Allen County Public Defender Office because I was trying to get a copy of my attorney-client file, and they wouldn't give it to me. Well, come to find out, they lost it. Excuse me. Come to find out, they lost it.
Let me back up for a minute, right?
So
we're gonna let me back up for a minute, Demetrius, because we're gonna also talk about the fact that you did some time with Korey Alwood, the guy that's a cop now. But I want to ask you this before we get into the particulars of the case. How old were you at the time, and how much time were you sentenced to?
At the time I was sentenced, I was 19 years old. I was sentenced February 19th of 1999.
And how much time did they give you?
19 years old. Originally I had a 100-year sentence.
You got a 100-year
50 years for attempted murder and 50 years for robbery.
And you're sitting in prison. You see this show come on, and you're like, man, talking about DNA evidence, and you're talking about you're in a war with the public defender's office. You're trying to get out of prison, fighting your case. So tell the people what's going on.
Well, 11 years after my conviction, I found out that there was DNA evidence in my case. It was the T-shirt, the blood-stained T-shirt or shirt, whatever, of the victim. First item logged in. Now, they ain't talking about DNA before my trial, during my trial, or after my trial. The interesting thing about the touch DNA test is that it wasn't available at the time I was convicted. I was convicted January 1999. touch DNA evidence didn't come out till somewhere like 2004. So, according to the laws, this is called newly discovered evidence. And what we're doing right now is, I'm on the list for my case to be, investigated, to be reinvestigated, to get this T-shirt, tested for touch DNA, because my DNA ain't gonna be on there.
So what ends up happening? I mean, obviously you're out here on the street. What happens?
Well, it's a process. It could take a year, it could take two. I don't know, but I'm going on my life, because with or without, them exonerating me, I'm gonna be successful, and that's a fact. But
So
it is something that is important to me.
Let me ask you this: how do you get out of prison on the 100-year sentence?
Well, in Indiana, what is called a post-conviction relief petition, I filed one. I end up getting the Class A robbery vacated, and they dropped it down to a Class C felony. Gave me 5 years on that, and ran it consecutive to the 50 years of my attempted murder. So I end up with a 55-year sentence instead of a 100-year sentence. And I represented myself in court. I got myself outside the help of God. Well, no, I can't even say that, because I was taught by my OGs in prison, like brothers like Old Man Burnett, Kalanji, Brother Love, Ishmael. All these are my brothers. Some are not with us today. May they rest in power. But me living out here, I am the afterlife. Me staying loyal to the things I was taught by these profound men. I'm their heaven. Me being out here representing them and being true to who I am as a man, and not just a mirror of who they are, but taking the wisdom they gave me and understanding, and I use it as my own wisdom. So I can't come out here and just do what I want to do. I am being accountable. And you know what? I love it. I love every bit of it.
I want to talk a little bit about I want to talk a little bit about your prison experience, right? You being in prison, what prison was like. You're a young man going to prison with 100 years. What's it like for you?
Well, when I first got to prison at 19, you have all these, stereotypical things you already have thought about before you even got there. So I had a short man complex, and a chip on my shoulder, and I visualized the first time I'm testing, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But when I first got to prison, it just wasn't like that. It wasn't fun. It was very serious.
A lot of violence,
but like
over
I've
there
been telling people, of course, absolutely. See, this is what people don't understand. Prison is nothing but a microcosm of society. The same thing that's going out there in society on this most basic level is going on in prison. Every drug that you can have access to out here in the world, you can have access to it in prison. Whatever kind of liquor you got access out here in the world, you can have in prison. Any kind of woman that you like, if you slick enough, you might be able to get some of that too. But that's not everything that goes on in prison, though. That's not the totality of what goes on in prison, though, either.
Ask you this, Demetrius, right? I know you were a vice lord, very influential. you end up in kind of like what we got in the feds called the SMOO program or the ADX. What do you end up? You end up going to the hole pretty much for 5 years. What do you go to the hole for?
Well, when I was in prison, I trained in martial arts, right? And we had a school of thought called a House of Wu. It was a group of black men. Well, I can't even just say black men because we have some brothers of European descent. That was a part of the House of Wu, a couple. you know, but it wasn't just about martial arts. It was our lifestyle, it was our culture. So being in prison is about survival. But see, I was a part of in prison, but I was a part of that before I got to prison. I didn't get locked up and become a part of nothing. It's very segregated in prison. Everybody, whoever you with, that's what you with. If you're part of an organization, you better not be talking about you going to assist your homeboys from wherever you from. Don't make that mistake. It was very organized. It wasn't perfect because when you were in there, the struggle was real. See, in there, it's not about the strong mind that survive. No, the strong minded don't survive. No, I misquoted that. Excuse me. People say only the strong survive. No, only the strong minded survive. Okay.
I want to know why you end up in that hole for all them years.
Okay. Excuse me. I got off track for a little bit. Check. Well, one of the guys that I trained with, he got stabbed in the face. He wasn't part of my organization. He was part of a different organization, but nevertheless, he was my brother. And word got back to Internal Affairs that me and the people I trained with was about to retaliate. So before we can allegedly do anything, all of us were transferred to the SHU at the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility.
You sitting there for 5 years just because of what they thought you might do?
Absolutely.
Is this when you meet
actually,
Korey?
Yeah, I met him while I was on the SHU. Absolutely.
So Cory Alwood, the guy that's the cop, former Aryan Brotherhood gang member, right?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. They called him Pony Boy. Was he a dangerous dude in there? Was he known to be a dangerous dude? Crazy?
Well, hey, he convinced me because, I know a million ways to skin a cat, and he was going to be one of them. Guaranteed.
You felt you were going to skin him?
Absolutely. He was a done deal in my mind.
Tell me why. Tell me why you wanted to get at him.
Well, Korey and one of our members did some business, and the guy on our end was found to be on some BS, right? And instead of us, Korey, I think he kind of jumped the gun a little bit, thinking that we weren't going to take care of our own. And he was making some threats, and I chuckled, 'cause I thought it was hilarious, but from what I've seen, him among his guys, they did exactly what he told them to do. And I ain't never known no peon to have that type of job, not in the environment I've been in, so from my experience, he, yeah, they did what you know what I mean, whatever he told him to do. For real.
So Korey was kind of the shock.
You better not eat. Yeah.
What do you think about
You better
Korey
not
getting
take
out
one square out. Now I was about to say you better not take one square off a tissue roll if he told you not to do it. That's what I seen.
So he was kind of a dangerous dude back then, but he turns his life around pretty much.
Well, what ended up happening between me and him is that, you know, me and him, no matter what organization that you belong to in prison, there are universal rules that all organizations must obey. And whoever violate whatever organization that you belong to must, you know, give proper accountability. And I'm gonna tell you what the 3 rules is. And this is why me and Korey ended up becoming brothers, cool. And that was even controversial. You know what I'm saying? First rule, mind your own business. You know, mind your own business. I grew up like that. My grandmama taught me that one. 2, respect everybody, no matter who they are, whether they're affiliated with a gang or not, whether they're opposite or considered an enemy or an ally. Respect everybody. Number 3, speak when spoken to. If ain't nobody talking to you, ain't no need for you to say nothing to nobody. And when I brought them 3 rules up, you know, he kind of felt that. He could relate to that. Regardless of who I was or the color of my skin, or I don't know what he had going on mentally in reference or in relation to the organization he belonged to at the time, but me and him got understanding while we still were on department-wide administrative segregation together. And that even became an issue. Because he's the Aryan and I'm, you know, absolutely a vice lord. Without a doubt of contradiction, I was. I ain't saying I was you know, a don or, you know, a boss or none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I was very loved among. I was very loved and respected among my own. Very much so. I will say that.
You guys work things out.
And yeah, we became cool. Yeah, talk politics, history, all that. What we gonna do when we get out? You know. And then I ended up getting out August 24th. And my friend, she's a news reporter, Miss Jamie Duffy, a former news reporter for the Journal Gazette News here in Fort Wayne. She called me, well, she's texted me and said, listen, I got this guy. He said he's done about 20 years in prison like you. And his name Korey Alwood. He said he would like to know if you had your phone number, he'd like to call you, he'd like to help you. And of course, I just got out of prison. I want all the help I can get. Care who you are, where you from, what you look like, what your social status is, or political persuasion is. You got some help from me? Come on with it. Korey Alwood, I don't know who that is. You just said help. But he took too long to call. So I called Miss Jamie Duffy back and said, man, let me get his phone number. Let me call him. She gave me his phone number. I called him, and you know, we get familiar, we get the name and names, and the name of what prisons we'd have been at. And I'm like, man, hold on, we know too many people for us not to know each other. I said, man, you know what? Video call me. He video called me, and as soon as he video called me, I said, I hate you. As soon as I said it, we both started cracking up. You know, and then he started telling me, man, he said, bro, hey, bro, I done changed my life, man. I said, bro, listen, I'm not a part of that organization no more, bro. I'm a family man now. You know, I'm a police officer. I said, what? I said, you mean a security guard, bro? He said, no, I am a police officer. And I was like, man, what? Now let me tell you something, bro. Just let me say this right here. I have to say this, right? You got people who will watch Jerry Springer all day, They'll watch shows like Cheaters all day, right? But you mean to tell me you got a guy who went from being a menace to society to a servant and a protector of not only the law, but the same society he was a menace to. Now listen, just hear me out. Check. If you all viewer of this show, let me ask you a question. If you had the opportunity to do, if you have the opportunity to do exactly what Corey did, exactly the way he did with his same life experiences, if you had the opportunity to do exactly the way he did it, the same way he did it, belong to the same organization the way he did it. If you had the opportunity to go from being a menace to society to being a protector of the law and society, the same society he was a menace to, would you do it?
I mean,
if your answer is no, you can't do something like that, then why not applaud somebody who can?
I respect it. Listen, let me tell you this, right? Yeah, they probably don't make enough money, you know what I'm saying? But look, I own a paralegal company. I get people out of prison every day. That's the lane that I took. I got friends that were formerly incarcerated at 12, 15 years, former bank robbers that are now home and they're criminal defense attorneys. Worked at the White House. Sean Hopwood's one of the guys out of Nebraska who, was Donald Trump's daughter's advisor in law school at Georgetown. So that would have probably been the avenue that I took. Look, man, I say this all the time, and I think Corey talked about this. Someone's breaking in your house, you're a law-abiding citizen. What are you going to do? People call the police, man. If someone's, you can't get to help your mom and someone's breaks in her house and they're, doing the R tour, which we can't really say on YouTube, you want the police to go save your mother probably, right? Look, man, I applaud anybody that changes their life and gets out here and turns their life around. When he told me that he was a cop, your response, I was like, come on, man. Hell no. How was that even possible? So I did some investigating. I seen the video of the sheriff that, was talking about him on the news. And I think they got a lawsuit going where he says, look, here's a guy that was a major gang member, did massive amounts of time in prison, and now he's a cop. And, I went and I had to find that shit because I can't bring a dude on the show telling about he's a cop. And I got to confirm that. So look, man, I mean, that man's home. He's no longer an Aryan brother. He's with the daughter that he's raising is mixed. He turned his life around, bro. And you know what? Like he said, which I'm not, hey, I'd rather have a motherfucker that's been through it that could, maybe have a little more compassion because he was a cop in the jail than a street cop. That might understand, what we're going through. Look, man, I don't want nothing extra. I just want what I got coming. Men respect men. Just make these, just respect me, man. Don't treat me like I'm a piece of shit. Don't spit in my food, man. Don't kick me when I'm down. Don't handcuff me and beat me up. And I think Corey's the type of dude that wouldn't allow that to happen when he was a CO. I think he wouldn't allow that to happen when he was working at the jail. I don't think he would allow it to happen when he's a street cop. I think he would intervene. And a lot of brothers out here that don't understand, you probably do want someone like that to show up to keep the police off you. You know what I mean? So I have to respect him. What else can I say? I have to respect him. What did you think when you were shocked, right?
Yeah, listen, bro. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm what you call a nonconformist. I don't think like everybody thinks, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a prime example. When people say actions speak louder than words. Now it sounds good, right? So when he told me that, I'm like, wow, that's like, man, that's crazy. Like, that's a leap though. Like, that's more than a 180, bro. To me, I was like, bro, wow. It's like, but look, I know how powerful the truth is, though. See, listen. TD Jake said something. He said, God cannot bless the person who you intend to be. This is what I say. There's no power in being something you're not. So why would you want somebody to continue being something that they're not?
I mean, I feel.
I say that to say this. for me, actions do not speak louder than words, bro. Thoughts speak louder than words. You have to think about what you're gonna do before you do it. So when he told me that, yeah, I'm startled by the actions, like damn, Aryan Brotherhood, boom, police, wow. Boy, I know the Aryan Brotherhood, they hate the police if they ain't in cahoots with them. I know that for a fact. And listen, God can't tell me down here and convince me otherwise. I seen it with my own eyes. So I know for a fact that brother was serious. You can't tell me that brother wasn't serious. He better not be playing. Listen to me, bro. Listen to me. That brother is a changed man, bro. I'm telling you. He will not play with his life like that, bro. He better be serious.
And he spent.
That's a good brother. That's a good brother, man. I'm telling you, bro. I done seen it with my own eyes in prison and out here. Now, I ain't his cheerleader or nothing, but listen, they say, well, there's experience, there's no room for doubt. If you ain't experienced what he experienced, who is you? What you got to say about something you ain't experienced? Only fools do that. You better off asking questions.
Hey, listen, I mean, the story had me speechless. You know what I mean? And some of the stuff that he said.
You feel me?
I mean,
so I'm respecting the kind of mind that you have to do what he did. See, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I admire. You know, that inspired me.
Hey, I mean, I think his story should inspire a lot of dudes that get out of prison and women that say, hey, look, I want to turn my life around. I mean, whether you want to be a construction worker, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be whatever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, he became the change that he sought to see in others. I think the dude I think he's for real. I do think that incarceration affected him.
And I'm going to tell you something, bro. I'm going to tell you something, bro, for real. I'm going to tell you something. And what the youngster say now? I ain't about to do no capping right now. Me and that brother in the beginning was about to kill each other, bro, in prison. Plot and planning. Bro, this ain't no Hollywood show, bro. This is like real life. Let's get down with the get down. Okay. Yeah. We talking now. Let's go ahead and execute some things right quick. You know. But in the midst of that, bro, we got to understand it. Listen, you know what my favorite flower is? I have to say this. My favorite flower is the lotus. You know why? It grows out of the mud. That's how I view my life, bro.
Listen, me talking to you, you're a very intelligent dude. I think that I think prison affects all of us too. Do you feel like prison affected you?
Of course. Absolutely.
You did all that time in the hole. You did all that time in the hole, alone with your thoughts. Do you think that hurts you mentally and emotionally to do 5 years locked in solitary confinement?
No, I was educated on solitary confinement. See, I was educated. And I'm going to tell you when it started. This is when I started thinking beyond, you know, the organization or being a part of that lifestyle, right? I had an OG, his name is Jakub. And brothers who've done time in Indiana know who this brother is. Good Muslim brother. He said, youngster, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And he said, if you can answer one of them, I'll be impressed. He said, but I'm not easily impressed. I said, all right, OG, come on. I had to be around about 25, 26 at the time. This was my journey start for me, you know, elevating, start, you know what I mean, having some purpose about myself. He said the first question, he said, what do you have to offer this organization that they don't already have? And instantly before he could even get done saying, I said, you know, love, loyalty, you know. He said, no, they already have that. They already have love and loyalty. He said they even have that, you know, even blindly they have that. You can't say that. I said, oh. I said, well, I don't know. He said, it's okay. Maybe you can answer the second. He said, well, what do you have to offer to improve this organization? To improve it? In my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know what's wrong with it. So how can I improve something where I don't know what's wrong with it? So I said, I don't know. He said, okay. He said, well, I'm asking you one more question. He said you have the RICO Act. He said you have the continuous criminal enterprise act. That's state. He said you have the various Indiana codes, the Indiana laws that's against gang recruitment, et cetera, all these laws. He said, knowing that the law is against this organization, what still inspires you to want to be a member of it? I said, oh, gee, I don't know. He said, you know what? He said that means that your representation of this organization is in name only. You have no substance.
That's deep, right?
You have
there,
no
right?
substance. You
That's
have no
deep.
substance. If you can't answer one of them questions, then you have no substance. You mean nothing. You just taking up space. You are of no use to nobody, literally. And he said, I'm not telling you this to discourage you. He said, I'm just trying to tell you this so you can define and see what role you play in this organization. Because if you can't find a role to play in this organization, what is the point of you being a part of it? And he said, how are you going to be a part of an organization you're not even organizing your own life?
There's some young dudes watching this, right? Some dudes that are joining gangs, some dudes that just got in that gang life.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Let me tell you this, brother. I wish that we would have said that 3 years ago when we first started this channel, because I mean, you got me speechless, right? Because I never knew those questions. I never been able to ask those questions or answer them. Never even thought of it. But that's something that young dudes should be thinking about. These dudes in the street, social media, talking about, yo, I'm with this. I'm the op. I'm going to get the opposition. They got their guns out. They're, pretty much they're self-snitching on themselves. They're creating a case. They should probably think about what you just said. I'm going to have to put that in the short, brother. They got to hear that. People have got to hear that, man. That's the message right there, brother.
Yeah.
That's
Bro. It's like, bro, if you had to ask me, what is the number one lesson that I learned during the past 25 years, 8 months I spent incarcerated, you know what I would say?
What's that?
That I learned how to love myself, bruh. A lot of people don't even know enough about themselves to love themselves. Think about that.
That's pretty deep.
So people wonder why I had influence in there in prison. And I'm gonna tell you why. It was not a secret. Ain't no secrets, bro. But I'm gonna tell you what it was. People don't care about how much you know unless they know how much you care about them. See, when somebody genuinely know that you care about them, they are open to anything that you have to suggest to improve whatever they got going on. That's why them youngsters in there love me.
How much time did you do total, Demetrius, before you came home?
25 years and 8 months straight.
You did 25 years and 8 months of your life and went in at 19.
Yes, sir.
How long you been home, brother?
I got home August 24th of last year.
August 24th of last year, after 25 years in the penitentiary. What was it like to walk out to this world after 25 years?
Bro, I feel like I walked into a different dimension, but it was also sad because people think that elevating or getting to know who you are or elevating in life is always the feel good moment, but it's not, because when I got out here, bro, I just seen how much suffering is going on out here. Like families, women, teenagers, they need somebody out here who genuinely care. And sometimes people don't even need you to say nothing. Sometimes people just need you to just be there for them to vent to. I'm telling you, bro, I'm gonna change a lot of lives out here. I guarantee it. Mark my word.
I see you're working now.
Word.
What's it like to go to work, man? To be normal?
You know what? Going to work is like I'm going to meditate. I love doing what I do. I'm a housekeeper. at the Best Western Lustberry Inn on Coventry Lane in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I love it. I was doing this in prison. I was doing sanitation in prison, so what I was doing in prison, I'm doing out here. I was successful in prison in doing what's right. This is just an extension, you know.
The violence that you've seen over 25 years in there, did it affect you? Did that affect you?
Yeah, it did. It's like you already go to prison with what I don't give a mentality, you against the world. But then when I'm gonna tell you something, with a lot of young guys who are in gangs or who are in the streets, the streets have already desensitized them to violence anyway. So me going in there, I've already seen some things on the streets. I've already seen a few things at a young age that a young man shouldn't see at that age. However, when you go to prison, it's bad, bro. Like that's why in prison it's very important that if you claim that you're part of a particular organization, you better be serious about it. For real. You better be serious about it, not playing no games because that could become an issue too. And even this is what people fail to realize about prison. It don't matter who you are, whether you are a gang member or not. I know a guy, man, that went to church every Wednesday and Sunday out of the whole 25 years I've been in prison. Well, I ain't gonna say all 25 years, but the time I spent with him, part no gang or nothing, don't nobody bother. Why? Because he mind his own business, he respect everybody, he speak what's spoken to. It's really that simple. He ain't never got in one fight that I ever known of. And you better not mess with him because you might get, dealt with for messing with him. Because he mind his own business. Respect everybody, speak what's spoken to. Respectful guy. Love the Lord.
What's gonna keep Demetrius out of prison?
I want to talk about something, bro, that is very important. What's gonna keep me out is me fulfilling my purpose, bro. And I just got certified as an empowerment self-defense coach, which is somewhat like a self-defense instructor and a life coach in one type thing. And that's my passion because what I'm doing is I'm teaching the very principles that I've used to come out here and be successful with. The same principles I used in prison to be successful and to be influential in a meaningful way. I'm using out here. And what it's called is self-mastery. And I know that's a weird term. People normally don't hear that term self-mastery. But let me explain it to you though. This is my definition of self-mastery. Self-mastery is when you find out what your purpose in life is. And once you are aware of what your purpose in life is, you acquire all the skills it's going to take that it'll take to execute that purpose in life. And then once you obtain those skills, you live your life to execute your purpose so effectively that all that you think, say, and do, you get the maximum results with the least amount of effort. And that's what I'm doing.
Listen, man, 25 years and some change in there. Obviously, you appreciate your freedom. You're an intelligent dude. I've been around some of the most intelligent people I've ever been around were in prison. People like Herman Bell, former Black Panther.
Right.
This guy was my next door neighbor, and you remind me of him a little bit. But look, man, before we get ready to go, anything you want to say before we go?
I do. Bruh, everybody know about prison. You got shows about it. Orange is the new black and all this, That stuff is a mockery, bruh, to me. What I've been through is the entertainment. That's funny. Everybody know about prison, but what people don't know about is what it takes to go inside of an environment that naturally, once you release, it produces something that has lost its sanity, bro. By right, I should be insane. But the fact that I'm not, that I am focused, I am disciplined, I am so grateful for all the brothers that taught me the things that I've learned in prison. And all the brothers that I did time with that has been getting out, you know what's happening, bro? We all out here doing the same thing that we said we was gonna get out here and do. Is be successful on whatever level it may be. Bruh, God himself couldn't say, I'll let you go to heaven if you go back to prison. You know what I tell him? I'd rather burn in hell.
Listen, man, you know what? I might tell him the same thing, unfortunately, right? I want to go to heaven too, but you know what? I ain't going back to prison. But listen, brother, I appreciate
Straight up, bro. I'm cool.
Hey, listen, brother, you're a good dude, man. And I definitely appreciate you coming on and talking about your experiences, what you've been through. People don't understand, man, what it's like to serve 25 years in prison. Yeah, they see the shows and all that, but they don't know all the pain and the hurt and the loneliness and the family members that die and all. They don't show all that shit in them shows, man. They can't show you what 25 years is like because it's every minute, 24 hours a day for 25 years, bro. So definitely appreciate you coming on. I'm going to tell people if you like what we're doing, hit that like button, subscribe, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.